I'm Keith Lucas.
I'm Susan Matthews.
And I'm Jessica Cash.
And welcome to another edition of Explore My Town, Charleston's 101
Things to do in Charleston and the Low Country before you die.
So join us as we explore the most iconic places, events, and attractions.
And reveal some of the most treasured secrets of this Southern Belle.
So let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Explore My Town, Charleston. Today we are in Ondas, South Carolina. That's about 20 miles north of the city of Charleston, and we are going to pay a visit to the folks at the Center for the Birds of Prey. What do you guys think about that?
Oh my gosh, I'm just already excited about what's right here behind me. We are so looking forward to this. I can't wait to talk to and meet Jim Elliott. He's the founder, he's the executive director. He started this place 30 years ago, but it actually started in his kitchen, I think.
Wow.
I can't wait to ask him about it.
And there's a saying that you can't soar with the eagles if you hoot with the owls. But today we're going to be able to do just that. And I'm going to be speaking with Stephen, who is the director of education.
So let's dive in. Here with a friend of mine, Steve. Steve is the director of education here at the center, and he is going to show us around the center today. He's going to show us some birds. He's going to tell us about the educational program here. They're going to share with us what's going on at their medical facility. That's right, they have a medical facility here. So Steve, tell me, how long have you been here at the center?
I started with the center in April of 2003, so this is my 18th year here at the center.
Wow, 18 years. So you started what, when you were like 5?
Yeah, I was 11.
11, okay, gotcha, cool.
Yeah.
Now, you actually went to school for stuff like this, didn't you?
I did. I went to the College of Charleston and got my master's in environmental policy, so sort of my focus was helping people to understand our world, sharing science with non-science people, so to speak. So.
And I know you guys do a lot of bird rescue. You rehabilitate birds, a lot of birds. How many birds do you typically get through here in a year?
So in an average year nowadays, we're seeing in the neighborhood of 1,000 birds a year.
1,000?
1,000 birds a year.
And how do they get here?
So they get here as a result of problems they encounter in nature. Most of them encounter humans in some way or another. They get hit by a car, or they get tangled in something, or they get shot, or they eat something they're not supposed to eat. And that's kind of the negative human side. The positive human side is that people in our community see that there's a problem and they care enough to get involved and call us and help to get the birds here to get help. So.
Okay, and I understand you also have a huge network of volunteers throughout the state that help get those birds
Absolutely.
here.
So we don't have an ambulance that goes out and picks them up. We've got a lot of ambulances in the community, people that we can call upon to pick up a bird in their community, maybe get it halfway here and meet another of our transport network. And then the work that's done here is done largely by volunteers. So the folks running the treatment are oftentimes our volunteer staff. So volunteers in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, now you have an educational program here as well. Obviously, you're the director of education.
Absolutely. So my job and the job of my department is to take this information that we're learning about the problems that are happening for birds out there, and even on a broader scale, the problems that are happening for birds in the world and the things they might teach us, and share that with the public. So we have a collection of birds that we utilize to that end, to try to help people understand what's going on out there, maybe give people a reason to change their behaviors a little bit so that we can do better moving forward.
Gotcha. And in addition to the educational part of that education is a program that you guys put on for the public.
Absolutely. So we are open to the public. Currently we're open Thursdays and Saturdays. We have public programs that people can learn more about on our website, where we share, again, sharing this information we're learning through these birds in our hospital, and sharing some of the cool and interesting things about these unique birds in a way that people wouldn't normally be able to experience them. We can bring these birds a lot closer to people than they would normally have the opportunity to see them in the wild.
Yeah, so today we're actually going to get up close and personal with a couple of your birds, right?
Absolutely, up close and personal.
Hey guys, it's Matt Miras with Steven from the Center for Birds of Prey. Steven, thanks for having us out today.
I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, so we've got what type of bird do we have here?
So this is called a spectacled owl. This is one of the birds that we use in our educational programs. We've got about 120 birds here at the center that we use to help us to teach people a little bit more about these birds and the environment that we share with them, some of the lessons we learn in our medical clinic. But this is a native of South America. The spectacled owl is not a bird you'd expect to see in the Charleston area. About half of the birds we have here are birds from other parts of the world. So she's a teacher, and she was bred specifically to be a teaching animal.
Okay, cool. And how do you identify whether it's a male or female bird?
That's a good question. So the males and females look the same in most of the birds of prey. So really the only clues that we would have from an external standpoint would be size. The females are usually bigger than the males. And other than that, there's no real way to tell except to wait and see if it lays an egg. If it lays an egg, it's a female. This one we suspect is a female based on her size.
Okay, sure. And I see that she kind of bobs and weaves her head. What's that about?
Yeah, we think that head motion is one of the ways that owls are processing their environment. So their eyes are a little bit different than ours are. They've got multiple areas in the eye where light can focus. And so by moving her head, she's kind of taking a different picture of the environment around her. So she's getting a better view of everything that she's looking at.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how the owls hear?
Yeah, so as a nocturnal animal, hearing is pretty important. We know their eyesight is a little different than ours. Their ears are a little different as well. Instead of a flap of skin on the side of the head like we have, they have what we call facial discs. This little round area around her eye, those are feathers on a flap of skin right in front of the hole in the side of her head. So right behind her eye, where I put my finger there dangerously, that's her ear. And this disc on her face is like the flap on our head. It focuses sound on the hearing apparatus. You can almost see where the ear is as the wind blows. So their ears are actually on their face.
Okay.
So folks, here we are at the Center for Birds of Prey experiencing the ultimate flyover. So Steven, people will often see turkey vultures circling around in the sky, and there's a misnomer that means that there's a carcass below. What's the truth?
Yeah, so when there's a carcass below, we see vultures flying down to the carcass to eat it, right? That's what they do. But that circling behavior is an important one that we see in a lot of these birds. And what they're doing is actually riding hot air. It's called soaring. So they're flying in a circle so that they can stay in that rising hot air column. And so if you watch, next time you see them, not only are they not flapping and they're flying in circles, but they're gaining altitude. And when you gain altitude, there's a lot that you can accomplish. You can see a much greater distance. You can travel with much more ease. So oftentimes if you see that group of vultures soaring, you might also see other birds in there with them as well, like eagles and hawks and other birds that are using that same hot air. They're really among the most endearing, super smart, very beautiful, social animal with all kinds of great characteristics. Just because they're bald doesn't mean that we shouldn't appreciate them.
Right. And I'm sure that education is a big part of your mission here at the Center for Birds of Prey. The more that people know about animals,
Absolutely. Yeah, we spend a lot of time teaching people about these birds to help them hopefully change those thoughts about them. If we can change one person's mind about a vulture, make them appreciate this scavenger for what they do, then that is a positive thing. And again, all these lessons we're learning in our medical facility about lead poisoning and about other problems that these birds face, those are all lessons that need to be shared with the people that can learn from them, the people that can change behaviors and do better in the future.
Hey, it's Jessica Cash, and we are so excited today to be spending the day here at the Center for Birds of Prey in Ondah. I've got the man himself, James Elliott. He is the founder, he is the executive director of the Center for Birds of Prey. James, your 30th anniversary. You started this in your kitchen 30 years ago by rehabbing a wonderful animal back to health. So tell us all about, and we're going to go back to the very beginning, to those days in your kitchen 30 years ago, and look what you've grown into.
Well, it was not anticipated, I have to say. We had a very modest start, but much looking ahead of what we thought it might evolve into. And so it was a pretty focused effort, and just trying to help a few of the birds that we could recover from the impacts of interacting with humans. And we have evolved to a point that I would have never dreamed.
Never could have imagined. Wow. How can people help you as far as donations, volunteering? What are your needs as far as keeping this place running for 30 more years,
Right.
50 more years?
All of those things, honestly. We are a nonprofit organization, and we don't have any government funding, so to speak. So we don't, it's all individual contributions and foundations, and so that's our lifeblood. So the more of those connections we can make, the more we're going to be able to accomplish. The ideal way for us is for someone to come here, and I think it's easy to preconceive what's here and meet some of the staff that's here and understand the work that we do, and the depth and the breadth of the work that we do here is no better way than doing that.
We're focused on a very specific patient base here, birds. That's all we deal with. But we have a laboratory where we do some basic blood work. Obviously, we were looking at an X-ray of that osprey. We got to take the X-ray, and we've got a digital X-ray processor here, which was donated to us by CMS Imaging here in Charleston, which is fantastic. As a nonprofit, we kind of depend on the generosity of the community. We have a surgery suite. You can't really see it behind the kennels there, but this is where our veterinarians can come in and perform surgeries on the birds. And this is an osprey. Osprey are common here in South Carolina, predominantly in the warm weather months, but we do have them year round. They're a fishing bird. We end up with all kinds of issues. This one, maybe it's obvious, maybe it's not, has an issue of some sort with its right wing. It's in a bandage there to keep that wing immobilized. You can see we keep their heads covered to keep them calmer. Might not be obvious, but it's a pretty stressful thing for a bird like this to be around people.
So we had an awesome day here today at the Center for the Birds of Prey. Stephen, thank you so much for showing us around, sharing with us all this incredible information about what it is that you do here and the services that you provide for the wildlife here in South Carolina. If anyone has any interest in learning more about these birds, don't hesitate. Come here and check out the Center for the Birds of Prey. It's in Awendaw, about 20 miles north of Charleston. And you guys put on the public program, the educational program, that's twice a week now?
Right now it's twice a week on Thursdays and Saturdays. Ultimately, we're hoping to get back to more days and more program availability, but people can learn more about that on our website, the centerforbirdsofprey.org. You can always give us a call if you see an injured bird or have a question about birds that you see around your home. We're always happy to do our best to answer those questions.
And if
folks.
someone wanted to actually drive here.
Yeah, so we're just north of Mount Pleasant, 4719, Highway 17. First thing you'll come to in the town of Awendaw. So we hope we'll see everybody here.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. You all know that we support local. We ask that you join us in that effort. Whether it's a business or it's a nonprofit organization, they really need our help these days. So do whatever you can, whether it's volunteering, whether it's financial, whether it's just spreading the word. Please do that. Thank you so much. We had an awesome time here. Thanks again, Stephen.
It was our pleasure.
We look forward to seeing you all next time. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Jesus.
Deep breath. Shake it off.